Yeah. Yeah. Where's my... Hold on. Oh, I see. I'm live. 3. In...
Oh, wait, maybe not.
Okay.
You're live.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Form Review live stream. For those of you watching on post, thank you. I hope you find some value in this. For those of you who are new, this is a benefit to our $15 Patreon tier. They get to submit one of these form reviews every month. So you can find the link to that in the description below. Ciao. I'm pretty sure that means goodbye. Bye. All right. Also, for those of you who are watching this, we still have some watts. These are both listed under green. So green is kind of greeny, and you might get like a little more yellowy green. If you want to buy one of the green ones and put in a little note like that you would prefer one of the more yellowy greens, you can do that. No guarantee, because someone's going to end up getting the last of the yellowy greens. And then somebody's going to ask after that. And then obviously we can't do that. So, but yeah, still got a handful of these left. All right. Onward. If you're here and I've got your form. Chartreuse. Okay. So I was playing around here and at the Liberty University disc golf course, and I threw this crazy forehand hyzer flip line, super downhill, crazy forehand hyzer flip line with one of my old destroyers, which was yellow, and lost it. I mean, there were 4 of us looking for this thing. It was, you know, even Paul Macbeth himself was there helping us look and could not find the thing. So it was gone. I get a call one day from this guy who's like, hey, I found your destroyer. And I was like, oh, sweet, because that was like all I bagged back in the day. I was like, what color is it? And he said, chartreuse. I'm like, what color is that? And he's like, oh, it's yellow. He was like, he disappointedly said, it's yellow. So it had ended up at a course 3.5 hours north of us. Somebody had lost it up in a tree. So there's my chartreuse story. I know. I might just be the best storyteller of all time. Alrighty. If you're here and I got your form, give me a shout. Oh, I didn't even see the thumbnail for today's thing. Is it any decent?
Yeah, that's good. And
Oh, we've got 2 at the end of here that are the same one. You see that, Mikey? Girilla in September 2023 form. So do we only have 14, or is that supposed to be a different person? Yeah, I accidentally threw it to Front Royal, Virginia. That'd be sick. And it still had another 50 feet because it didn't fall out of the tree.
all files, I guess.
I'm in library, all files. Yeah.
I must have added Girilla to all files first, because I didn't see it, and then I put it in the Form Reviewz and saw it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm hopping in because I'm not gonna wait. Just in case everybody's like watching FPO. Oh, what I do have to do is get a couple of these downloaded. Also, I'm going to be at US Women's this upcoming week. I'll probably be busy, but if you're there, maybe we can glance at one another for a brief moment in time. Yeah, I might as well get all these kind of out of the way. Yeah. Dang. Is the ladies round still going on? Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'd probably watch that too. All right, first person, Mikey, I'm going to do Deadly Rage. Oh, there's Will. Here we go. Deadly Rage. What we got, brother? Good balance. So let me just say one thing, because it looks like you've worked on your footwork. I think you could glide a little more through these steps. The feet are technically in the correct place. It just looks a little bit rigid. Oh, do I already have it? Okay. Yeah, it just looks a little bit rigid to me, and you can see that like you kind of clip the back of your heel coming through here. So I think you could glide a little bit more, be a little more fluid there, just to kind of get that solidified. Obviously, you've worked on it, so I'm just going to make a passing comment there. The rest of what I want to look at has to deal with this nose angle coming out and that wobble. So we've got Guten Nacht in Germany, I guess. It's probably very late there. Wie geht's dir? But out of the pocket, we've got here, and we've got it kind of popping nose up here. And we've got that kind of nose up wobble. And I think what you want to keep in mind is that coming from back here, we want to throw more or less a straight, a direct elbow. From your backswing, you throw down a little bit here. And then we don't get the disc kind of all the way around cleanly and smoothly here. So you've got to finish this roll first off, and you've got to get the back of the disc, the momentum there, kind of swinging around. Something I've been using recently, and maybe my prop's gone. Did you by chance move a water bottle I had, Mikey? Partially filled water bottle? Is it trashed? Fret not. All right, prop, water bottle here. Right, so we've got the weight on this end. You have to be able to image the disc in a similar manner, where we bring it in, and then really we need the back side of the disc, which would be the part of the water bottle that has water in it, to swing around. And it needs to swing them around relatively smoothly. Not to say that there's not an explosive aspect to this, but we need it to actually swing around. Now, we can't help it with the wrist, because that actually, if you try this, if you try to help it swing around with the wrist, it's not quite as fast as having it force its way out of the hand. So what I'd like to see is here, it comes in, and now the water is here. And then when we go into our extension, it swings out and around. And you get it moving much more quickly that way. I think that's an old Loop Ghost video. I'm not 100% sure who gets attributed to that. Probably a different sport, honestly. But when you start swinging this around, we have to have this come all the way around so that we get kind of a clean release. So watch here in the form. How this directionally doesn't get kind of the back side of the disc to swing here and redirect forward, creating spin. It kind of goes out. It's almost like he's pushing it out this way and forcing it to come out way left over, letting it swing around forward. Right, so let the thing swing all the way around. One day, this water bottle is going to open up when I do this, and, well, we'll see what happens. Whoa. Destroy my setup. So in other words, straight elbow, we have to go from back here, curling the bottle directly in. We don't want to go down here, right? Because now the water wants to sit up above, and now we have to, this would be off-axis torque, which is something I thought was kind of silly in the beginning, but I'm starting to understand more and more, like a lot of things, actually. So we want it directly in, the elbow come directly in, so that it makes it easier to swing that water out and around and get that spin. Direct elbow, swing the water, and then go to a disc. You'll be able to do the same thing. All right, now we got a couple people on here. Well, Taylor, in a very general sense, I love you as well. In a very specific sense would be, is this Taylor a guy or a girl? Because I could get in a lot of trouble depending on gender here. Okay, who else said they were here? Yawn. Yawn the bag. Yawn money bags. Obliterator. Okay, so I like the athleticism of the footwork, but the issue here is that your cross step brings you too far back. You do a great job of staying on your left toe, but watch your hips go from back here to open, and now they're facing us. Before your foot even plants down, your hips are opening, right? So you've got the on the toes part correct. We need to make sure that we can get through here, that we can glide through this X step without the hips turning back. So you're turning back a step too early, which means that you're unturning a step too early. So instead we want to go, don't turn through the X, and now we can turn the hips back. Okay? So a couple things is really important to make that happen. We need to create kind of a cubby here for our right knee, so that our left knee can pass through with our right knee, so that our left knee can pass through, right? That means that we need to have that posture that you have, and your left foot needs to be staggered back a little bit so it can pass through cleanly, right? So we've got to be able to make this happen. Your butt's got to be out, your knees have to be bent, chest over knees. On the toes, you're already on the toes, right? So we can go here without turning. Here without turning. You can prove to yourself that you got here by staying balanced here. Now once you're balanced, turn the hips. Turn the hips away from the target or turn your butt towards the target. Nice farmer's tan. What are you talking about? That's where my farmer's tan's at. But yeah, through here without turning, with the posture and the cubby, and now we turn the hips back during this whole final step, staying on this left toe like you're already doing. And then we can shift and go. So get through the X step without turning, and then turn. And spend the whole time turning. The video about that comes out not this upcoming Monday, but the next Monday will be the X step video. So yeah. Oh, bro. My feet underneath my shorts. There's some more of the farmer tan. No, he saw the shorts, he said. Who else said they were here? Bring Bear, I think. Yeah, Bring Bear's here. But it's not Bring Bear, it's Bring by Air. But that AE could be the, and Bring Bear. No, it is Bear, if it's that spelling. What was this? Oh, dude, bro got me thinking he was going to throw a lefty forehand. Inverted Chandler Kramer. Faked me out. Okay, so same thing here, except actually the posture is the issue with the X. Let's see, perhaps I would. Let's check out the swing. Yeah. So, Bring Bear, you already saw what I mentioned about the water bottle. You can bring the back edge of the disc all the way in here. That's something you can work on whenever you want. You're here, and then you're here with it. Go here and curl in the pocket. So that's kind of the first low-hanging fruit, I would say. And the bigger, potentially longer project is to get through this X step clean. And your problem is that your butt is not out enough. All right, so even if my knees are bent, if my hips are like thrust underneath my torso, I can't get through here without rotating back, right? Without falling back off my line as well, right? If you start turning through this, you either didn't stagger enough to start and there was no pass, right? If there's no stagger, then it goes like this. This left knee, instead of running through your right, it goes around, and now your foot catches you, and your hips rotate just for that, right? And also, if the butt's not out, now your weight automatically, when you step, wants to go kind of towards these heels, which starts turning you back early. So I would really focus on here, this stagger here, but get your butt out. And you're going to have to exaggerate this. Almost nobody, when I tell them to do this, does it enough. They go from here and they're like, there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking, get that sucker out. So you can glide through this easy, and you should be able just to go butt to the floor basically the whole time and get through this. Go the opposite way too. Right, so that will keep us from turning back here. But right now you're just too upright. The lower body's just sitting underneath the torso too much. You got to kind of lean over this way. Your chest has to be over here. Chris Price is here, and I think the OU, or however you say your user there, I think that that's high, if I remember correctly. So we'll do high first. Whoop. Still going through the standstills, respect. What is happening here? I see what's happening here. Okay. So still a lateral move here is necessary. Good job on not twisting that foot so forward. Hey. Still getting grip locks, by the way, every time. People are saying it's my shoulder opening up. People are saying it's my shoulder opening up. So I'm not super against grip locks per se, but I don't think your shoulder, I mean, you've got a very round move, right? It's very here. Like you can see that your disc comes behind you here, and then it's just kind of like, whoop, like, you know, that bird in that, what's that, National Geographic, like, dancing bird thing. Anyways, everybody, I'm sure you've seen it. Everybody's seen it, right? So you're very round through like this. We need to get a forward-thinking move to happen, right? In both your shift with your foot and with your arm, it has to be forward. You have to press this way with the hips, and you have to move this way with the arm. It has to be forward, directly forward. Like if you were going to bump a car door here, it would be boom. You would hit it forward, right? You wouldn't go, let me wind up my butt cheek and go, and like try to close it that way. You just go, you just bring it back a little bit and you go bump, and you would bump the door closed, right? It has to be this forward move here with the hips, right? And it's got to be very forward thinking with the arm, right? If you don't think forward with the hips, you get this. And if you don't think bird of paradise, thank you, Jack. And if you don't think forward with the arms, you get this, right? And the disc coming around like this back edge to go back to this water thing that I was using before, which I don't think you were on for. This is the back edge of the disc, the part of the bottle that's got water in it, right? If you go around this way, like there's no real reason for the disc to or for the water bottle to eject out of my hand here until I stop my arm, right? So you're going to wait. If you go rotational, if you go all the way out here, you've got to reach the end of your range of motion before this thing wants to actually come out, right? I've got to go and force it to come out that way. But if I get it moving forward and I bring my hands inside like this, now when I continue to go forward, this water is actually moving this way to my left. All right, so it goes here. And now the grip is trying to pull it this way, right, from left, instead of just like, oh, okay, let me go around there. So my hand actually wants to hold on, is trying to redirect the disc forward, not, okay, I ran out of mobility in my shoulder here, so it stopped. So I guess it'll redirect a little bit. No, it's way more here, right? So move the water forward, move the disc forward, and when it grip locks, it's going to grip lock forward. Yeah. This is like the mental cue here is not to be undervalued. It's like there is a very forward action here. There's a very forward action with the shift. It's very boom. The hips are kind of going forward and we're resisting that way. And the disc is going very forward. Yeah, so let's look at this again. And just let's look at the hips. All right, so we're going to isolate hips first. Let's see if we can just look at one of these things. Is this forward? Oh, they're kind of going around already. You see that? Instead of just forward and driving forward into that foot. Now let's look at the shoulders. Right, the arms. Very forward. Forward with this left side. Or, sorry, not forward. Very around with this left side. It's very instead of forward. I wonder if I set it backwards with the hips too. Right, so you got to jam everything forward. Right, the hand will go out. Yeah, and when you try to throw like fast, I don't know if it's this way for everybody. I imagine it would be very similar. But my fastest throws are me just trying to throw forward as fast as possible. It's just like a directional feel and just like going. I don't recommend everybody do that, right? But probably similar for Mikey too. I'd imagine. Mikey, your bombs, you just try to get that thing moving forward fast?
Pretty much.
Yep, it's just through, just like every other sport. fast serve, just like I just want to pound this thing in the box quick. Just please hold. Okay, well, this is great. I'm glad I took a sip of coffee so I could see it. Because all you're working on is coil. So I'm going to treat you as if you're one of my students in a private lesson who I told this is all I care about then. All I care about is coil. So in light of coil, this left foot. So the left foot has a job to do starting here, right? And part of that is about how we get onto the left foot. So coil, starting with the left foot here. I'd like to see if you can get here first. Balanced on the left foot. Sorry, let me show it again. Here. Balanced on the left foot, on the left toe. Because being on the left toe specifically is going to help us get into this coil. It's going to give us a good posture of coil. Because right now, your left foot kind of shifts as it comes through here. Right. Yeah, move that up. Here. It starts twisting. Right? So I can tell you're not on the left toe because the left toe is moving back. Right? If it was totally weighted there, it wouldn't move back. So the left toe is what helps move that left hip out of the way, or the left butt cheek towards the target, right? So make sure that we get onto that left toe, and part of that is making sure that these like earlier steps that you have, like these tiny steps, is right here. This left foot, this left leg does not need to be straight going onto that left toe. When you see that happen with guys, most of the time what they're doing is different from what you're doing. So contextually, we do see this, but usually they're going up onto this left toe. So watch me lift. I'm going to go right, and now I'm going to go up onto my left, right? So I get really tall on the left, and that gives me the time to coil as I fall off of the left foot. So it's kind of like we go right, left, and then we just fall. And this last step, we don't force to happen. We wait to happen. So we go right, left, but it's got to be on this left toe, and we still don't want to be off of this here, falling back off of the shot this way. It needs to be, if we're going to do it that style, we're going to go right, left, and it's still going to stay on this toe as we go to turn. Well, if you're getting it during slow practice, then that's fine. Yeah, it's just too much twisting here into this left for the X step. So it's kind of messing up your coil a little bit because of how you're getting into it. So don't twist here, come through here, right? So this is, you should be able to, this is almost, the feeling is almost this. If we go right, left, left is almost what we're doing, right? We're almost jumping here, here, go. Right? Up, fall. Yeah, similar, right? The point is we're not turning the hips back here like before. We're not turning the hips into the X step here, and it doesn't have to be straight and back. So I would just focus a little bit more on getting going into this X step. This angle's hard to see, but the foot is moving off the line this way, right? Your first step comes this way. Let me show you, even though it's small, you can see directionally. And I wonder if if you shorten this step because it was, pulling your energy too far this way, like towards us, and then made your fall back away from us even more exaggerated. Right? So what I'm saying is, you're stepping too far this way, and then you're falling this way. You're going zigzag like this, instead of being able to go forward like this, which was my point about the little sexton hop thing. It's like, you don't do this, like forward, back. It's just directly down your line, right? So when we come through here, it needs to be right, left, very forward with this left, not falling off with the left, not twisting and falling off. It's just directly, boom, forward, and then we turn. That's what I would like to see. And that posture would help you kind of complete your better coil here. Does that make sense? I feel like I went a little roundabouty there for a second, but we landed that in the end. Oh, well, that's good. If you can see the problem, that's most of the battle. Yeah, the key in creating the time to coil is not stepping for that final right step. It's falling, right? And this is last bit I'll say on this, but I can get here and I can push off my left and get into this, right? And that only takes me half a second, right? Or I can go here and actually not take the step and be gently nudged and just kind of fall and take that time. So You just, essentially the momentum from the previous steps gets me here. Boom, boom. And then the momentum that's left over is forcing me to take a final stride, and then this foot catches me from falling on my face. Right? So this is just right, left. That's it. That's all I did was right, left. I did not take an additional right step. It just happened. Right? Or I could go right, left, right, and force this right to happen. Right? Which is not what I'm suggesting. Take that fall period as your coil time. You did not miss yours. Phew. Just my new roller.
Just let him know, Quiet sent his late for last month. We didn't have this month's thing, so we got left out.
Okay, Quiet. I'm to instruct you that the reason that you were left out is because you sent yours late last month. Therefore, it did not have the code word for this month. Therefore, we didn't see it. So, if you submit yours late the previous month, just resubmit with the correct code word, and that'll make sure that you get in. Oh, you got in twice. Oh, this ain't gonna work. No, I mean both of them came through, but I'm telling you right now, if I click on it, it's gonna say file format not supported. Oh, wait. No, sorry. New symbol. It needed to come through the cloud. I'm deleting one of them. You're deleting one of them. Okay, I kept it.
Are you gonna do this next?
He said, dang, I submitted yesterday.
Dang.
What? What's the code word? Can't tell you that. Is this your one from yesterday, or is this your one from last month then? That would be my question.
August 31st.
Let us know. Is this correct? Yeah, so maybe we actually got you into the last one of last month, and then you submitted a new one.
Uh-oh, he's shooting.
He shoot. He shoot. Okay, anybody else here? While you figure that out. All right, Mikey, I'm going to do Bill Satori next. It was worth a try, eh? Nick A30. Out there probably still playing Fortnite, I bet. Whoop. Oh, he wasted no time. He looked like he was in pain, and then whatcha! Sneak attack. I'm in pain. I gotcha. Like that. Fly like an eagle. Okay, so
I'm wondering, because I'm watching it right now, I'm wondering if the audio is coming through. It should be.
I don't know. But you'll just have to ask him, I guess. You guys aren't hearing the audio from Maple Hill, are you? Okay, nobody else is hearing it.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, he said, well, okay, quiet. Just resend your most recent form video with the current instructions. Just check the code word and the name and the subject line and the email that you sent it to. That's what I meant to say. Just resend it now, and he'll get you hooked up. I think this is the old one from. I think this is an old one, right? Yeah. 31st would have been last month. So yeah. Okay, Bill. Hopefully you're at a place where you can move, because I want to adjust. Yeah, he said this is the old one. I want to adjust your stance a little bit. I can't quite see where your left foot is pointing. I can't tell if it's too far back or not. What I can tell is that you're not bent at the waist enough here. I'm saying waist, but, at the hips. Obviously, you can't fold in half at your belly button, but, yeah. There, at your hips, right? So we need this. What I'm trying to do here is I want you to feel the coil. So we're going to stagger our feet a little bit, not keep our feet in line like this. We're going to go maybe kind of heel to toe here. We're going to stick the butt out a little bit, bend at the hips here. And we're going to start on our right. Make sure you have this bend here. We're going to shift over to our left toe specifically. And now I want you to start turning your butt towards the target without moving your left foot at all. Right? And keep turning that, so your right foot should not be weighted. Keep turning that until you feel a little stretch here in your hip. And then after you've done that, type, I've done that. Or, yep, I feel it. Or, ow, pain. Okay. So that's what we're going for first. Next, after we get there, so find that tension build there. And now turn your shoulders all the way back and away, again with this waist bend. Right? And it should grow that tension there. And let me know when you feel that again. This is something that you're probably not used to feeling, I would imagine, based on your normal, based on your video here. So, a couple things. So get into that position of tension again, or stretch, we might call it. And then once you get there, I want you to take this left toe and I want you to go like this and turn it back. And you're going to notice all of your tension go away, right? So we've got to kind of find this balance. Our goal during this final stride is to move towards that tension. We might not get we probably won't get as close to it as we're getting now, static, not moving, but we're trying to get towards that tension, right? So one way to totally dissipate that tension would be if the foot was too far back, right? So usually we don't make that mistake by going, oh, it's here, and then we're coiling, and then it actually twists while we go. Usually our X step is just too far backwards, right? Or we set up for our standstills with it too far backwards. That could be one reason. The other reason is if you try to find that tension, if you set up the same way, and then stand upright and you try to find that tension, you don't get your shoulders can go much further behind you before you start getting anywhere near that tension, right? And you don't coil that hip. Do you feel that? So we've got this kind of dual purpose here of this bend, right? So we've got we can actually coil and get a little bit of stretch there. And then on top of that, if we're standing upright like this, not only can we not get that coil, but now if we try to get towards that coil, the disc is behind us. And now our body's in the way of the disc, versus if we bend here and move towards that coil, the disc naturally wants to sit out away from us, and it has freedom to move past the body very, very easily. So I would work towards that here, and now do your standstills. So that kind of posture, back, and now do the standstills. Bloop. Das ist gut. Danke. Bitte. All right. Who else is on here? Who else is on here? All right. Next, I'm going to do Splox. Mikey. Splox. Splox. At first, I didn't realize that this... Oh, you're already here. That's perfect. At first, I didn't realize that this was probably carpet, and I thought that it was that material that we put on playgrounds, that like rubbery material that's also surprisingly grippy, and I thought, there goes a knee right there. But upon second look, with this gloriously long T-pad, it's probably carpet. It's a range, like a driving range, like a disc golf driving range. Where are you at, bro? Is this in Norway? If it's in Norway, oh, okay. Just gonna say, if it was in Norway, maybe Splox, Splock. Maybe I was kind of close with the initial pronunciation. I lost it though. I should have known by the double A. I should have known by your last name. 3 courses in a full driving range. Wow, bro. Finland, they just know, man. They just know. So, funny enough, this is something I was talking to my buddy John at Ace Disc Golf about earlier. Okay, so we got two things. Which one's more important? The one that would immediately help is for you to get your nose angle correct. So you pour the coffee pretty heavily. So you're here with the wrist pretty heavily, right? But it stays there, so it ends up popping out nose up like this. You need to roll the hand, roll the palm upward a little bit so you can get it nose down, right? So here and now, instead of just staying with pour the coffee and going out like this, you have to go, let me flip the palm up or the thumb up, right? Either way. We start rolling the back side of the disc up like this. So you're here, boom. Roll the back side of the disc up so you can get it nose down. I understand this is a mid, so maybe you don't want it nose down, but this looks more habitual and not intentional to me. For whatever reason, I really, like turning a key. I really don't have a good reason to say that other than intuition. But yeah, we go here, right? And you roll it down like that. That's going to be nose down, right? So that's kind of the first thing, is start learning to roll that nose down. Now the other thing is your footwork here. You stay towards the heel on your right foot, and it's pushing you back this way with your left step. And it's just making it tough to get off of that rear side. This is something I was talking to with my buddy John from Ace Disc Golf today. That this kind of moving from, if we're going this way, it's kind of moving from this way to this way. It's very natural when the posture is incorrect. So you can get onto this right step here with your heel. But makes it a little bit more difficult to get the posture correct. Generally, I teach that, so like with a 4-step walk-up, if I'm taking a left step first, this step, you can go heel to toe, and it's fine. Some people, like Henna, are already down here and already kind of on the toes by the time that they get into this, right? So you see this, especially with Henna, kind of the butt is already out. You're already towards the toes here, right? And she's very over the disc here, right? That's very Henna. So, but what I would try to do if I were you is I would go left step and the foot flares here a little bit, and then right step. And when you get into this right step, I would try to get into this down athletic move here by this time, and don't go to the heel on the right step. So I wouldn't go heel, toe here, and then heel here. I would go however you do your left step, that's a stylistic thing, and then I would go toe and get down here and create your posture that you're going to have for the rest of the throw. So left can be upright, fine, and then boom, we're in business with the posture. The knees are bent, the butt is out, the chest is over the knees, and we've got this room here for this left to pass through cleanly and put our energy forward, not backward, like not away from the target over here, We want it all going through, and then we turn, right? So that's what I think kind of the bigger issue is. The nose angle, I think you can work through diligently, and you'll see distance increase and you'll be happy. But this is overall form-wise probably more important to get to the toe here, get in this kind of squat position like you're playing volleyball here. Does that make sense? Is that my X step is less toes to the camera. You start with an open step. The left foot can go back a little bit. It doesn't have to be facing directly to us. We just don't want it going back like here, for example. The key thing with the footwork is that we don't want the hips twisting back this way during this step. Or sorry, during the cross step. So, I think the way that you're doing it now is kind of a band-aid for that problem. But the real thing that you want to address is moving forward with the correct posture. And then your left foot will be correct through the X step. So. Is the heel releasing power too late? Where? Are you talking about here? This timing is fine for the pivot. If you're talking about right foot. But it should be toes. Yeah, it should be toes from here on out. This right foot should go toe, 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 right? And then you shift. So yeah. Oh, it's only showing me 4 each. I was like, dang. Deadly Rage. I did yours already at timestamp, wait for it, 5:49. You were first up. You were first on the block, brother. All right. Here we go. Quiet. We've got you. I remember. Yeah. So Quiet sent last time. Quiet was the guy who was like, "Yo, if I join right now, can you get me in?" And I was like, "Absolutely." I think that was him, anyways. Quiet. 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 Let's see here. That's pretty good. 50-ish feet's pretty good. You gain 50 feet for $15? What? So I wish that's how it worked, because I'd pay right now. Give me all the $15 subscriptions if it works like that. Yeah, so I think it's in your best interest to continue down this path and refine it a little bit. And toes, good. The hips are too far back before the weight is on the toe. So you see how before your right, I don't know why I thought you were a lefty in my head. I just like switched it. Anyways, you guys, it's weird. It's weird in here. Okay, so you see how your hips are turning because of the momentum of your right foot? Like you go boom and you turn before your left hits down. Your right foot's taking the job of your left foot. So we want to delay that turn until the left foot can do it, basically. It's kind of cool. Let me actually... Okay, sweet. What? These guys don't belong in my reference content. Okay, there we go. Here we go. The man. Boop. So watch here. Actually, maybe you're a touch more philo than I thought. I might renege here just a little bit. Philo going back a bit earlier than I thought. Hold on. I gotta get appropriate speed. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the max stuff. I mean, call me a liar. Do it. Okay, hold on. I'm doing a little mini study here. Yeah, for sure. Sorry, let me find a different specimen as well. I'm just cross-referencing stuff. Hold, please. Yeah, for sure. Okay, Philo does this a little bit different, and I don't entirely know why right now. I'm just noticing that he does this a little different. So I gotta go back and study that. But Drew and Paul do this the same, and they both have this kind of similar form. Yeah. All right. So not turning back here, because what's happening is you are coiled, but then you go and you uncoil a tiny bit early. So I'd like to see you go right, left, and get high on this left instead of going high on the right and then like falling immediately after the left, right? I'd like to see kind of right and then up into the left and then turn there. So faster it would look like right, left, and then turn so that you can fall and coil that way. Seems to be much more your style there. So right, left without turning, and then turn. here and spend the whole time turning. Versus what you're doing here. We go boing up, and then now see how we're coming down on the left? The whole time, and your right step is like pretty long. I'd like to see right, left, and then using that vertical energy that you've got going here so we can go down. So up, and then drop into it. And then smash that sucker. I don't want to say too much because you're really on the right track. And if I say too much, I fear that it's worse for you. But look here how the hips are back, all the way back. And now the hips open the whole time. Right? Should I be floating over my left? Floating over my left. Oh yeah. Who'd that be? Where you be? Here it be. Floating over your left, like bypassing your left? No, I don't think so. So you watch here. Right. Boop. Hopping into the left. If anything, he kind of bypasses his right. He goes momentum with the left here. Momentum with the left foot. Quick on the right foot. And now he's floating. Left. Now do keep in mind here that he's got to go up. So he's going to really be moving up here because he's taking a high anhyzer line above the trees on this hole. But yes. Reference content. Find Drew. It was similar in this way. Left. And here it goes. Boom. Long time on the left. Dropping, 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 and coiling. Boom. Right, so his hips don't go as far back as yours did, and he does not uncoil as far as yours did, right? Not before this foot hits. He does have a little bit of rotational energy, you might say. Yeah. But yeah. So coil a little bit later when you have that weight or pressure on the left foot. Slower speed's good to practice for sure. When you're using a hop like this, you can only slow it down so much, right, and maintain balance. So you got to kind of find that. You've got to find that balance in finding the balance. Right? So, but it doesn't seem like you have a problem. I wouldn't be surprised if you tried it at a like moderate pace or like down tempoed, but not like a slow crawl, and we're able to find it. Basically, Octopi alley. Octopi alley. Yeah. Oh, they're here. The double I do like the double video setup. If this could come in like horizontally, that would be even nicer. Ah. This is cool to see though, because like the same exact throw, because what's happening here is the disc is getting too far behind your body in reference to where you're throwing, right? We can see that here. So what you got to do, or the question is, why is that happening? Is it just happening because it's happening? Or is it happening because you turn your hips going into your X step? See here? How far your hips go back here? It's already pulling the disc behind you during your X. See that? And so, of course, you reach peak extension here with your arm because the disc didn't have that far to travel. And you've still got all this room for your foot to go. Right? This next step thing, let's address it. You're not late, Alex. We're doing yours next. You're right on time. A couple minutes early, actually. Okay. I can do it lefty, actually. It's not a problem. Unless you prefer for me to do it righty so you can mirror. But it seems like something that you're just kind of like, oh, okay, putting up with. I'll do it lefty. Okay. So current issue is we're going here. It's not that you're not like bent going forward into it, right? Because you're trying to get low. You're trying to get athletic. But you're here and you're turning back like this. So a couple things we got to set up here. We've got to have this left foot. We've got to create room behind the left for the right to travel. Right, so to create this little cubby for the left, we've got to have a little bit of stagger, so you can see my right foot here. We're going to have a stagger, and then we've got to keep this posture that you have. Just make sure that your butt's out. Your knees are already bent, but I'm going to give you the 4 things here anyways. Butt's out, knees bent, chest over toes, or chest over knees, we could say. And then pressure towards the toes, right? So I can lift up my heels if I want to, right? And now we need this step to slide directly forward, right? We're able to do that when we have all those kind of conditions met. So let me look at this behind view one more time. Let me see something real quick. Here, here, yeah. Yeah, so don't turn this, don't turn the hips. When you do this first, like, so you do this right step, and then you have this step come across, right? Be careful not to get into a like tornado move here, where it's just like, oh, since we start turning, we have to continue turning. We don't have to, right? These are all forward steps for the most part. So if I'm throwing a U, I'm going to take this right step first, this flare step. It's going to be a forward step. It's this way, right? All I do is I go boom, and I flare my foot. But it's very much a forward step, right? So forward step. And now when I turn, it's a forward step that comes across just a little bit, right? We don't want to swing this left hip around this way and then carry that like swinging momentum into the next step. It's just forward step, forward step. And now I'm side on with this right. And now I kind of lock in here. And I lock into that posture. So right, left. And now I'm in that same posture I had before. I got a little bit of stagger here. You can see my right foot. I've got knees bent on my toes, butt out, chest over the knees. And now I can go straight forward, right? So if I think about all these as forward momentum steps, it really helps. So right, left, and now the disc wants to be, sorry, I'll go this way. Right, left, and now if I take a forward cross step without turning my hips, the disc wants to stay here. It wants to play kind of in front of my chest. If I continue going through, now it's behind me. And then when I go to coil, it's still behind me, of course. Right, so the goal is not to let it kind of get there at all. Forward step with a flare. Forward step, created a tiny stagger. Don't turn, still on the toes, still have the butt out. And now, turn the right butt cheek towards the target, right? From behind, step by step, the difference being right step forward towards where I'm throwing. Notice I'm not going over this way because that would put me turned around in reference to my line, right? If I just went over this way here and I did all the correct steps but this way, well, now the disc is behind me because I walked not the direction I was initially throwing. So I'm going to do it this way so you can see it. Here, 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 here. Cool. Savvy, savvy? I thought that was a wooden disc for a second. Let's see that again. Yeah, and if you watched the last one, Alex, which I'm assuming you did, because you were here the whole time, you can kind of see the same feel, right? Look at the form here. Look at the feel of the hips and the shoulders and everything start spinning, right? And then unspinning. Yours especially has a little bit more of a feel of kind of here, there, right? It's very, oh, let's like spin back and spin forward, right? Instead, we've got to get the mindset towards, and this is why I start a lot of people actually, and you might consider doing this. I start a lot of people here if they're going to do footwork stuff because you should be able to do this forward move, right? I could technically do, like I could do 2 X steps like this. I can go right, cross, throw, right? I'm trying to build my momentum that way, but I'm doing it with side steps. I'm just going like side on and traveling that way, like a crab, right? It's just, everything's just very this way. So we kind of start perhaps forward, and this is just to build more momentum, right? So momentum building, boom, and now we've got to get side on so that we can turn and set up our feet like this, because if we try to throw from here, that doesn't make sense, right? That's not going to be powerful because our feet can't do that. Everybody knows it's like hard to get power on a straddle putt versus a stagger putt, right? Because our feet are set up better here to resist. So side on just is more powerful, but we start here to get more momentum, right? So similar to the last one is don't make the form so turny the whole time. The turning that happens only happens is more of a twisting with the body. So we go here and we get side on, and it's like, okay, here, here, here. Like that's the throw. The only difference is we go here and we go, okay, well, let's twist the body here and get coiled up and springy. So, all right, but let me give you some. The mental aspect is super important, more important than everything else I'm going to say on this. But let me look for some sound. Yeah, so the posture's not quite there. The butt is under the torso here, like this, which is basically going to force more of a turn. Right, not only that, when you go back and the butt's under like this, you can't really twist that well, so now you're going kind of back like this, with your head going outside of your legs instead of being balanced here and twisting. So, same posture deals here. Butt's got to go out, knees have to be bent on the toes, chest over the knees, right? And I would just start sideways for a while, and I'd work through something like this. I'd see, can you just move this way without feeling like, whoa, like twisting like that, right? Just can I move directly forward like this, right? And since we're athletes, we should probably go back the other direction and make sure we can do it on the left-hand side too for balance and parity. But I would start here, cross and hold and show, can I keep balance? Cool. And now we can work on the twist, where we turn the butt to the target and we turn our back to the target here. And then we throw forward. Does that make sense? Addicts. Addicts. See if I can peek this shirt here. Oh, it says class. Absolutely. Yep, you can ask. Let me remember yours. Okay. The left jumpy, turning backy early one. Correct. Correct. The idea is that it's almost like your left foot is when the pole vaulter like puts their foot in the ground and then they go boo, and then fall onto that right. So yeah. If you go down into if you drop from too high into your left foot, then you're going to rebound upwards, right? And now your right foot is not planting down, it's lifting, right? Which is not good for a good solid brace and a good solid plant, right? So it doesn't mean that you can't be coming down at all on your left. It just means that you have to time it to where you can put maximum force on your right afterwards and have enough time to coil. So you might find a little bit of leverage in a better way or a different way, kind of like Philo, right? Philo seems to do it a little bit differently. And chances are he found out that that's what worked best for him, just through experimentation. But who knows? Maybe if he changed it to be more like Paul, maybe it could be better. I wouldn't put large amounts of money on that. Interesting. So this is actually like this right foot here isn't turned enough. Right? By about this time, this right foot should basically be perpendicular to the target. And I say basically. Let me pull Simon, who has like more like flared out feet probably than, well, for sure than Drew. He's the person on here that I think his feet sit a little wider than everybody else I have on here. Right, and see his foot's not really pointed that far forward because it's going to make it harder for you to glide through here and get properly loaded and balanced without those hips being underneath your body. All right, which makes it tough to get that right hip back. All right, you see here how the right hip's back? Yours are here and they stay here the whole time. Right, so you're getting no coil from your lower body, which is going to make it really tough because this foot's going to try to hit down open a little bit here. Right, even with Simon, it doesn't plant open like that. Right, so you've got to focus on, I think your right foot can be closed a little bit more on that right step. So I'm talking here, you should probably have this flared more to like 45-ish, right? And then this one should be basically perpendicular, basically pointing right at the camera when you get here. So point at the camera, now we're on the left. Now, once we get to this left foot, we can take this hip and go boom. And you can get here instead of just here, right? The right step. So your action items being get this foot turned all the way and not so in line as well. So not only are you here, but you're like here. And so now this pulls you back this way for this step, right? Which makes it tough to load the hip there, because if you load the hip there after you fall off this way, I'm going to go here. If you move this way, now if you properly load the hip, my feet are in line with one another, which is not strong to like resist the ground. We actually need stagger, and I'll spare all the details on that, but like there's a reason why you're not coiling properly, and it's because of this step here, partially, right? So have this right step flared, and now 90 on the toe. That lets this left foot go directly forward, and now you've got to turn your hips. You can get that coil in the hips, which will help you get more shoulder turn. And just better coil in general. Right, here's Simon's coil on a non-max distance shot for Simon. And there's yours. We can still see like your left side pocket. Got it? Bum, 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 bum. Absolutely. All right, Mikey, next up is Will Barry Red. Yeah, fingers get jacked up if you put a whole bunch of load on them, so you're going to have to cool it for a second. That's my advice. We all had that not too long ago. Everybody in the shop tried all at the same time. We were all just trying to throw faster and faster and faster. And then it was just like our fingers could not recover. So just had to lay low for a little bit. Fortunately, we had some very busy days to where it was like recording, and I mean that last video took a lot of recording and prep days to get. Mm-hmm. This is a posture problem as well. You see the move back this way. And hips turn back early. That's because of the butt not being far out enough. It won't let him stay towards his toes. Right, so you got to stay towards the right toe here. Let me move these before they... So got a couple. But let me move them before I accidentally hit them and turn them into used inventory. Which, you know, we don't have. So that would be a problem. All right. So we want to be able to move forward directionally here. Right now, what's happening is your posture is messing with you a little bit. If you stand here and you put your butt underneath your body like this, you thrust your hips forward, and then you try to walk forward like this, you're going to notice that when you thrust your hips forward like this, just standing up, that your weight is towards your heels, right? And if you walked sideways like this with your weight toward your heels, to catch your balance, your feet would start moving more and more this way, right? Your energy would start moving this way, despite your best efforts. And that's what's happening now, right? So in order to fix that, we've got to get our hips out. Here, now my body, as it wants to walk, when I put my hips there, my knees want to bend, my chest wants to be over here, and now this is kind of where I'm, rocking on my piano. Right, so here, now I very much want to, as I stride this way, my body wants to stay over here because this is where my chest is at. Right, so now it wants to stride this way. This keeps me putting energy forward into the line, into the shot. Right, so once you get into this right position here, once you get into not this left step, but this right step here, we're kind of locked on. So here's where I'm jamming, right here. So at this point, we get into this posture where the butt, the hips are this way, knees this way, toes here. I can lift up my heels very easily, and my chest is over this way. So now, every cross behind step wants to go like this. So now I'm on my left, and then I will turn. Right. Start from a little bit further back. You can start from this posture right away. Like you can just start here and go left. And now, boom, locked in, side on, here forever. Right. And then you just add a turn. Boom, boom. Left. And now I turn. And I kind of take the whole unit, whatever I'm working on here on the oven, and just pull it back behind me with that posture. All right, next, Mikey, is PCW. I feel like we've had this name before, but I don't remember these flowing locks. You do something different with your hair, girl, but you're not a girl. This is always the guy that the girls look at and they're like, I'm so jealous of his hair. Guys with long hair just have the magic formula to healthy locks. Okay. Woo what? Dang. What did they get? Oh. Probably a bunch of watts.
Meteor, 1 watt, 1 grade, or 2 grades, Dune, and a Tour Series E-Swirl XL.
Yeah. Was it that yellow XL? Dude, that thing's sick. I'm surprised. If it's the one that I'm thinking of, I'm surprised it's only going now. Okay. So let's look here. So this turn into the X step. and here. So you see how back the hips are by the time the X step hits? Right? That's going to put the disc way behind his body. Look. See here? That's where the collapse of the pocket comes from. It's like the body can't get the disc through the pocket cleanly because of where it's coming from. You know, probably really would do a lot of good to slow this down. Yep, I'm going to take you through the steps here. And if you're someone who's watching the whole stream, you're just like, whoa, lots of people struggle with this. Lots of people do struggle with this. Okay, lefty, throw lefty, Josh. Okay, so as you're coming up, this initial right step, so I'm going to go right, left, X, final. Or I could look at what you do. Left, then right, then left. Okay, so if you're going to do a left step first, the left step is directly forward. Goes left. Directly forward, no flare. This is just a momentum builder showing your line. Right, and now the next one needs to be forward with about a 45-degree flare. Right, forward with about a 45-degree flare. Now we're going to get into our posture. So we're going to go another forward step and another 45-degree flare, and that's going to lock us side on. Now with this step, it's important to note. So I went left step straight, right step straight with a flare. Now, when I get side on, this left step is going to come across just a teeny tiny bit so that you can see my right foot behind it. Now, when we get to this left step, it's important that we get to the correct posture. So straight, right, left. And when we get there, I'm getting into this, hike posture, right? Or receiving volleyball, or returning serve almost, right? It's down, the butt gets lower to the ground, the hips go back, the knees are bent, and the chest is over here, right? And then we carry this same deal into the next step. Here, we just keep everything right here. On the toes, right here. No turn here. Super important. Don't turn back here. All right, you should be able to get through this step. Let me back it up a little bit. You should be able to get through this step and then balance on your right. That's how we know we did it. If you start falling back here, your pressure was probably not towards your toe, or your hips were probably, your butt was like 2 underneath your body, right? So this bend that we have here stays over here, right? It doesn't go back here. If it's back here, that means that we turned too early. So, the top again, straight step, right step that is straight with a little bit of flare, right? And now we're going to go forward again, and now we flare another 45 degrees. Now we're side on, and we're going into this posture. Get through this next step, keeping everything right here, right? And then our eyes are just forward, so we're not moving anything back here. It's just here, still on my toe. And now we can coil. and turn. And now the disc wants to stay on this side because that's how we set it up through the X, right? Straight, right, left, and now I'm here. So it's going to stay over here for this next step. Stay over there. Good. And now when we coil, it's staying over there. Yes, it's going back, but it's staying over there. And work on your footwork. That's slow. That intentional. Maybe even slower. And then slowly pick up the speed until you get it correct. You can go as fast as you want, as long as you don't mess up. All right, next is Cornelius. West Coast Florida fishing. If you know what you're supposed to work on and how to work on it, then there's no need to become a patron. If you're unsure or you don't know what to work on or you don't know how to work on it, then become a patron if that's the value you're trying to get. Unless you just want to give us money, then there's the $5 tier for that. But even then you're getting discounts and stuff, so maybe you're not just giving us money. Plus the podcast, the extra section of the podcast is available to you at that point. So, yeah. And those Patreon questions for the podcast are... those sections go pretty hard in the paint. If you love the podcasts, not to tempt you, really, but to totally tempt you, I really can't say no. I mean, the Patreon section is people probably asking the questions that you would like to ask that I didn't ask. I'm asking the questions I think people need to hear the answer to. You guys ask the questions that you want to know the answer to. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so we've got forward bend here a little bit. But this, I would actually say, is probably a little bit almost unbalanced because the knees aren't bent, right? This is the first person that we've seen like the bend at the waist without a bend at the knees. So I'm interested to see what happens here. Because what can happen here is it can turn into like just a backwards lean later on in a throw. But let us see. Right? And now you see the total stand up here. Because he's got to turn. And I'll explain why that's that. To the right heel now. Right, this should be right toe. And the disc is very behind. Okay, so bend at the hip, correct. Now, there's a reason we go to pick up heavy things, and they say, use your legs, not your back. It's not that they don't want you to bend your back at all, right? I mean, they don't want you to arc your back like that, obviously, right? But it's not that you're not got to go down at all like that, but the thing is you're not trying to do it like this. We got to get our legs into that. Right? Now we can use our legs muscles if we're like this. So you've got the bend at the hips here, which is one part of correct posture moving forward. Right? So as we go through your throw, if we just bend at the hips like this and the knees aren't bent, now this is very unbalanced, right? And so we've got to start throwing our body weight around, hinging and unhinging there at the hips in order to keep balance, right? So by the time you get into this turn, if you stayed here into this turn, what would happen? You would fall over, right? It's kind of like it's how babies walk, right? They can't really make adjustments. They just like, their head just pulls them, right? So we don't want that, right? And the way to not do that is to let our legs work, let our big muscles work, right? So we could be hinged at the waist and move forward like this all day long or until our legs give out, right? But we would be in balance, right? So we want to have the other parts of the posture puzzle put together. Parts of the posture puzzle put together. We would like to have parts of the posture puzzle put together, which is butt, back, knees, bent, right? And now we're here, strong. So, I gotta remember you're a lefty. So here, all right, I would just start sideways. Here, boom, boom, boom. And sometimes I do this, and I've got to say, be careful with when you use weights with this, obviously. Watch out for pain, but I think you can feel when you carry something heavy. They're like, oh, okay, that's very easy for me to do. Versus if I was here, that would not feel good. It would feel very awkward, right? So you should be able to move basically all directions here with your butt kind of to the ground, carrying something heavy. It forces you to stay centered, forces you to stay balanced, or else suffer the consequences of awkwardness and hopefully not pain, but potentially. Right, so here. So I start here and see, can you just do these cross behinds? Can you just have those posture pieces, put your left foot in front a little bit, and can you just walk directly forward with that cross behind, right? And then switch them up, and then go right. Right? So, there. Posture correct, give a little stagger, put that left foot there. And now we've got our disc. Now we've got our setup. Go through the cross step. Balance here. This is strong, balanced. We can stay here. You should feel the muscles working, not I've locked my joints out and that's why I'm here. It's my legs are supporting me. And now we can turn. Here. Now we can turn our butt to the target or our back to the target. Balance and strong movement. Oh, this is L Bung.
L Bung?
Yeah, B-U-N-G. Maybe the N is silent and it's L Bug. What? Why'd you end all the way up there? Not only you, but look, everybody ends up here. Look. This is everybody's landing spot. It's all bottomed out. Ooh, nice brooms for the tee pads. Yeah. So the lean, right? The lean, and this foot's too forward, actually. Yeah, I'd love to see you just work side on for a second. Work side on, starting from this right. This right, we want to move to where the foot's here instead of forward like it is now. And then get on your left properly. And then I'd like to see you work on coiling, right? So we can kind of work all these inside of one drill / one sequence, because this shoulder really needs to go back as well, right? And these hips need to go back. We are using on form for form comparisons. All right, so I'd like to see you start side on. As with everybody else, knees bent, butt back, chest over knees, weight towards the toes. You can lift up the heels. And I've got a little bit of stagger here. My right foot's a little bit in front. Some people do heel toe. Some people don't need to do that. You need to make sure that you can get into this next position. So we're actually headed into this position. So do this first and feel this. I want you to stand here, right, and then balance on your left leg. Right? Notice that to balance on it, you're kind of sinking into it a little bit, right? Your legs. You've got that posture where your leg is bent, your butt is back behind you, right? Our chest is relatively over our knees, and we're on our toe, right? If you want to try to feel the wrong way, go ahead and straighten out your leg and pull your weight towards your heel. Now we're locked out and also fighting for balance. It's trying to pull us backwards, which is going to hurt us later, right? So, but this balanced one leg position is what we're getting into, right? So we're going to start proper form here, proper posture. And then we're going to do this cross behind step. And if you have that little bit of stagger and you've got that posture from before, this is just a directly forward step for the most part. Directly forward. The foot can angle back a little bit, but we've got to get to this balanced position. This is both testing and proving to ourselves that, okay, we have decent posture and we are balanced. Second thing it does for us is once we get here, it gives us time to think about the next step, which for you is coiling. So from here you will go, we're going to turn my butt to the target and my back to the target. That whole final step. So the whole sequence looks like this. We are here, a little stagger in the feet in proper posture. Here, left, and hold. Change gears. We're going to turn our butt and our back to the target as we step. Still on my left toe? Good. And then eventually you can throw. Enjoy. All right, Mikey, last person, Girilla. Our Stream Elements bot is finally running. It's kind of late, isn't it, Stream Elements? You got that, Mikey?
Yeah. E-E-E-R.
Yes.
And then what's the last part?
Illa. Yep. What would I work on first? I went down to Florida last January. Ran a bunch of clinics actually. Southwest. Let's see. So I started at the shoot. Where's Broward at? That's like Fort Lauderdale. So I started at Fort Lauderdale, then I went to Tampa, then I went to Orlando. No. I went Fort Lauderdale, then I went Orlando, then I went Jacksonville last year. Yeah, the issue is that we didn't get, there are no fields in Clearwater. There's like nothing. And so after totally sketching out Charlie, there was like, it was like, okay, I could like potentially do stuff on his 9-hole, or I could go to Orlando, basically. And so it was like trying to find the city. So anyways, but yeah, and that, I think that's going to be a yearly thing for us if possible, because my family joined us for the Orlando portion, and it was like a little work / vacay combo, and they loved it, dude. Dakota brought his wife. I brought my family. It was, I was working, but basically everybody else had lots of fun. I had fun too, but yeah, I want to schedule a little more vacay time in there. So yes, the answer is yes, and maybe this upcoming January we'll do it again. I'm not sure, but my family's vote would be yes. I'm pretty sure Dakota's wife's vote would be yes. So I'm unsure what or why you started reaching down and back. I don't really have to understand that at the moment. But your pull through could use a little help. But I think probably more important is the footwork. Similar, I mean, it's similar to what we've been kind of talking about all day. So you turn your butt back to the target here, like totally back when your left foot goes down. And so now your disc wants to play behind you here. And so here comes the rounding, because the disc is playing so far behind you. That's where your swoop is coming from. You cannot throw a direct elbow forward, basically, because of your left step. So yeah. So the solution. And by now, if you're watching this, you should be able to coach every player you see with this problem. I'm not advocating that you do that, but just came up a lot today. Okay. So much, I've done it with a couple lefties that I just forgot which way I had to travel to be a righty. But here we go. So this step right here, where's my tech disc? This step right here, if you just hold something like you were holding in front of you, if you take this step and turn your left step backwards, that object is still in front of you, but in front of you is now this way, right? So if we go to turn, now the disc ends up being here. I turn early. Now the disc wants to play here, and it just can't get through your body, right? So your swoop is happening because your disc is trying to find some way to get past your body. And it can go here, or it can go up here and slide through this way, right? There's no clear path for it to travel, right? But the solution to this is the solution is to create that path. It's not to change the arm motion just yet. So you need to practice on going here. We're going to work through the posture. Everybody say it with me. The 4 things we're looking for in the posture here are what? We need to create a cubby here, which is part stagger, right? So I need my right foot here, and my left foot needs to be a little bit behind it so that this can go through, instead of, if my feet are in line, it goes here, and then it has to go around so it starts turning, and now I'm playing behind me. Thanks for the super chat. That's sick. DB Weethy. Weetha. Weethy. Weetha. We at he. Decibels, we at he. Decibels, we at he. Decibels, we at he. Gosh, what a cool thing to be able to... If I could just like whip out Islander, oh my gosh. I'd do it all the time. Okay, now say it with me. Here we go. So after the stagger, we've got this cubby being created by stagger. Also, 4 things in no particular order. We kind of squat down athletically, right? Gives us our knees bent on our toes. Our butt has to be out. You have to exaggerate this probably. And we're kind of chest over the knees or bent at the hips here, right? And now we can go directly forward, uninhibited by our own body. Here. And I didn't just start doing this overnight. I practiced. Right, so here, and when you can get through clean like that, now this still wants to play here. Now we can start turning. And the difference is that when we start turning here, now the disc still wants to play over here, not behind us, right? So from this view, here, posture, slight stagger, cubby created, right step, left step, and now we have that reach out, right? I think probably what started happening was to create or to buy yourself time, you started reaching down to try to fix this pathing problem. But the pathing problem is not fixed if we're down in here, right? Still can't get past your body. But from here, you can see all of this space that the disc has to move because I've got that good posture and the disc wants to play here instead. Are you right? I hope that is clear. Because I delete you now. Cool. All right, friends. That's it. I Hope you guys have fun watching MVP Open. And let's see Simon or Isaac take another one, right? That'd be sick. Peace out. If you're interested in our Patreon, you should know that it's in the description. I'm obviously super excited about it. It's the best thing in the world. Yeah.